see such a fantastic turnout. My name is Bethany Barrett. I'm an associate professor of political science here at Roosevelt and the director of the Joseph Loundy Human Rights Project. And I just want to say a few things and then pass things off to my colleague Sherry Berkowitz. I want to welcome everyone to this wonderful conversation with two leaders in the battle against injustice in the criminal justice system. I'll more formally introduce Warden and Steidl in just a few moments, but I just want to take this opportunity to thank a few people without whom this series would not have been possible and quickly describe the work of the Joseph Loundy Human Rights Project. I first want to thank Joe Loundy, my partner in crime in this series and in the project. The Joseph Loundy Human Rights Project is a program that's unique in the nation in its engagement of undergrads in international human rights research with a policy focus. We rotate amongst several different interrelated social justice issues, and we study them from a comparative international perspective. Our focus this year is on wrongful convictions and miscarriages of justice. Through this program, the students study the sources of miscarriages of justice and work toward the most fruitful areas for reform through this kind of interaction with experts in the field, like Warden, as well as wrongly convicted individuals like Steidl, through researching current alleged cases of wrongful conviction with the Chicago Innocence Project, by lobbying for election of reform-minded individuals, and by building partnerships with experts in the field, both here at home and abroad. We'll be in the UK in November conducting comparative research on the sources of miscarriages of justice there. This series is also sponsored by the Department of Psychology, so I wanted to thank the chair, Jim Choco, who I think is here, possibly behind the column. Hi, Jim. And especially Professor Sherry Berkowitz, who is my co-organizer in this whole series. We're set against the powerful faces of the wrongfully convicted in Terrence Simon's Innocence, and this is the official opening of this show here at the Gage Gallery, which under Associate Dean and Gallery Director Mike Ensdorf has evolved into Chicago's premier space for showcasing contemporary critical social photo documentary, as New City has called it. Thank you to Mike for always being such a joy to work with. I know it's right now. I'm sure working hard on something. I also wanted to thank the Cultural Arts Societies for their co-sponsorship, especially Associate Dean Julie Rowan and Dean Lynn Weiner, and our great folks in marketing and PR, especially Mike Plusny, Laura Janata, and Tom Caro. And also this exhibit is sponsored by Susan B. Rubinitz as well. And I wanted to thank my assistant Anthony in the back too, who keeps everything organized. Our final sponsor is the Justice Council of the Center for Wrongful Conviction at Northwestern University Law School, and my colleague, Professor Sherry Berkowitz, will introduce Katie Pellet from the Justice Council.
As Dr. Barrett mentioned, my name is Sherry Berkowitz, and I'm an assistant professor in the psychology department here at Roosevelt. And tonight, I'm very pleased to introduce one of our co-sponsors of the Center on Wrongful, we're not the Center on Wrongful Convictions, the Wrongful Convictions Distinguished Speaker Series that we have going on, and that is the Justice Council of Northwestern University School of Law. By the way, I want to give a huge thank you to my good friend and colleague, Rachel Steinbeck, who is a member of the Justice Council, and in particular a member of the Education and Outreach Committee, and she had the wonderful idea to partner up together with the Justice Council, so a thank you to her. I'll allow Katie Pellet, the president of the Justice Council, to tell you more about their wonderful group. But let me just quickly say that the Justice Council was created by Northwestern University School of Law and is made up of a group of amazingly talented lawyers and community members who are passionate about fighting for justice and have volunteered their time to assist on cases and events for the Center on Wrongful Convictions. Lastly, for the Roosevelt students that are here tonight, and I see many of you, I hope that the Justice Council inspires you to stay connected to Roosevelt even after you graduate, and that you follow along with our social justice mission, and that you give back to the community. And now, please give a warm welcome to Katie Pellet, the president of the Justice Council at Northwestern University.
We just formed last year, so we're a relatively new organization. We're made up of young professionals, primarily attorneys, but we do have some non-attorneys, and I'm here in an effort to pique your interest and perhaps get more non-attorneys to our side. Our mission statement is that we will work to raise money for the CWC, expand its constituency, and educate the general public about wrongful convictions and the need for criminal justice reform. So the way that's played out thus far is that we have organized fundraising events. We had our first event last spring at Roosevelt, which is a bar over in River Park. And we had it at capacity. It was a fantastic event, and we were lucky enough to have Randy speak at that event as well. We've also begun an effort to staff volunteers to CWC cases and other events that the CWC needs help with. Most specifically, we started a project to staff volunteers with the Torture Inquiry and Relief Commission, so we've got that underway. We also work with the CWC to spread information about and get support for criminal justice reform. We also try to get people to appear at clients' hearings to provide a visible show of support for the work that the Center does. Now, there are two ways that you can get involved with the Justice Council, either as a member, which would mean getting involved in all those things I just told you about, and coming to our once-monthly meetings. Generally, we meet at the Bloom Legal Clinic, which is in Steidl, but we've kind of had floating meetings in the loop as well, so we try to be as accessible to people as we can. You can also attend the meetings via phone. Or you can just become a friend of the Justice Council. I think for those of you who are still in undergrad, this would be a great opportunity to network with attorneys and other leaders in the community. You can sign up at the back, and what that'll entail is me sending you a ton of emails, primarily about upcoming hearings, try to get you out and see some of the Center's lawyers in action. Also lectures like this one. Petitions were circulating about some of the CWC cases, and media coverage of the CWC. So, in conclusion, I just want to thank Bethany and Sherry so much for letting us glom on to your fantastic speaker series. They're both members of the Justice Council, and sign-up sheets circulating, so feel free to pose any questions to the former and put your name on the letter. Thanks so much.
And I have the privilege of introducing someone very special and very important to our community and to Chicago's community. But I want to start by saying thank you to Bethany, to Sherry, and to Mike. Your work really defines the legacy of Roosevelt University. Not only do you inspire our students to act, but you really teach them how to do so. So I just want to thank you very much and let you know it's a privilege to get the opportunity to work with you. The person I'm about to introduce really does likewise as well. I think a lot of you probably know his biography, but Senator Raoul has represented the 13th District since 2004. He has done so with amazing passion, with great purpose, with elegance, with conviction, and with true effect. And we're so proud that he's our senator, and we're so fortunate that he's here with us today. His accomplishments are too numerous to mention, but all really relate to very important social justice issues. And most recently, he led historic legislation in the Illinois legislature that saw the death penalty overturned and also led to the creation of the Torture Inquiry Commission. And so it's my great privilege to turn this microphone over to Senator Raoul.
Just a little bit about my unknown background that might shed light on my perspective to my work in the legislature, particularly on the criminal law committee. In my first job out of law school was with the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, working in criminal appeals, and I spent my time reading transcripts and arguing for the affirmation of convictions. And so I've been involved at that level on the prosecution side of felony cases at the appellate level. After a few years in the state's attorney's office, I got what is called the break in the office, which is something that symbolically represents something that's preventing your advancement in the office because you don't get along with a particular individual. And so I figured my focus way to 26 people felony trial work was done once in private practice. So I abruptly left the state's attorney's office and started in a general private practice, in which my very first jury trial was defending a young man who just moved here from Texas, who was wrongfully accused of committing a battery to a police officer. And we put the trial on the stories from the police officers from the Calumet Park Police Department were all over the place. And in my summation, my closing argument, I talked about listening to the state's case was like eating at a bad restaurant. Whatever you ordered off of the menu left a bad taste in your mouth. And if you tried to swallow it, you would almost choke on it. So don't try to swallow what the state is trying to tell you about this case. And this is a young man who was working as a child therapist and working also in disadvantaged communities to teach parents to be the first teachers of their kids. And to have somebody like that who's on his way to a community meeting to be pulled over and later put in the chokehold, woken up with the taser, and realized that he was being charged with battery to a police officer. And he was unconscious during most of the interaction. Kind of woke me up and focused me on the magnitude of wrongful accusations and wrongful convictions that must exist out there. Now, politically, it is challenging because it's not a popular thing to advocate for criminal justice reform. The easiest thing is we often, Senate President Culligan, as he used to chair the Judiciary Committee that covered both criminal law and civil law, used to say, we call it now the Culligan rule, remember you can only